long, long ago, there was a river called the Red River. There were people living around it called the Métis. They were a cultural group unlike others. They were originally people that had European and native ancestry, but they became an ethnic group. But the HBC legally owned the land that they lived on, so they sold it to a Scottish noble named Lord Selkirk. He bought the land so he could get Scottish settlers in the area, but the Scottish settlers were running low on food, so they made a law banning the hunting and selling of bison, which forced the Métis to move west. The Métis were not happy about losing the right to kill the bison. They depended heavily on them for their livelihood. Tensions arose because of this, but then they got into a battle, leaving only 3 Scots alive while only killing 2 Métis, a decisive victory for the Métis. Despite the efforts of the Métis, they still had no bison to hunt, so they moved west and settled the land, creating towns like Bachok, Saskatchewan, and St. Albert, Alberta, and all the land around the Scottish colony is now owned by the HBC. Now that I think about it, what has Canada been doing? Well, Canada's been feeling it. As in, they've been filling their own manifest destiny. So they buy Rupert's Land from the British. So what now, they think? Well, thought Canada, why don't we figure out how much money this land is worth by sending surveyors? So they sent surveyors all around their new land, and they sent a surveyor to the Red River. And the Métis didn't want them there, but there was a language barrier, so they sent Louis Riel, who told them to leave the land. Not wanting to leave the river, they created the Métis Bill of Rights, which protected the people of the Red River. They created Manitoba, a provisional government that had French, English, and native languages used. It sent elected members to the House of Commons and Senate. French Catholic and English Protestant areas of land were set aside for Métis natural resources under control of the federal government. With the Métis demands swiftly ignored, the Métis feared integration into European society. They already faced problems such as starvation and homelessness. The Métis were furious about this, so they desired to stand up for themselves. Then, the Battle of Bachok happened. The Métis defeated a group of Northwest police at Duck Lake. The government rushed soldiers west. After 3 days of fighting, the Métis surrendered. The resistance was over. In a dilemma, Sir John A. Macdonald and the election he was leading up to after the trial and didn't want to lose votes. In a moment of deciding, he says, "Riel shall hang, though every dog in Quebec shall bark." After the speech, Riel was hanged. During the hanging, the Métis demanded the Bill of Rights, but people were punished for resisting. First Nations did not receive what they were promised and were forced to stay on reservations. The Canadian government expanded west. The Métis tried to fight for rights and tried to become independent and keep their way of their own lives through resistance. The government did not like this, and it backfired quickly. And sadly, they struggled to be recognized as a distinct cultural